I think there's a good argument to be made that gun control legislation has never done anything to reduce the availability of guns to criminals. I think there's a good argument to be made that gun control has done nothing to reduce the number of gun crimes that occur in this country. I think there's a good case to be made that gun control legislation has never done anything but keep guns out of the hands of people that we don't care if they have guns or not. We don't need to be worried about whether or not they own guns. So that's briefly how I feel about this conversation now about gun control, which is somehow attached, and this is the thing that really kind of makes me sick, it's somehow attached to this tragedy in Arizona that has nothing to do with it either. In any case, you can tell none of this was scripted because I've been stammering and probably not as organized as I usually am, but I wanted to get this out there, and people have been asking me, so that's what I think. That's my 2 cents on this. So I will leave you with the immortal words of Bill and Ted. And I mean this. Be excellent to one another. And party on, dudes.
Richard Gere, learning about love. This week, Siskel and Ebert review Playboy Richard Gere, learning about love from streetwalker Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. And exec Michael Caine makes a killing in A Shock to the System. And Vietnam veteran Rutger Hauer is a new kind of ninja in Blind Fury. It's all coming up next on Siskel and Ebert.
Vivian, I have a business proposition for you.
What do you want?
I'm going to be in town until Sunday. I'd like you to spend a week with me. Yes. Guess I'd like to hire you as an employee. Would you consider spending a week with me? I will pay you.
Richard Gere and Julia Roberts agree to keep their relationship strictly business, but love gets in the way in Pretty Woman, one of 5 new movies we're going to review this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Our first film is called Pretty Woman, and it's the surprisingly well-written Pygmalion-style story of a ruthless businessman who transforms a hooker into a presentable companion, and in so doing transforms himself into a more caring human being. Richard Gere plays a corporate raider who needs a companion for a week in Los Angeles. Julia Roberts plays a sanitized version of a streetwalker still in need of a makeover.
Give me a ballpark figure. How much?
6 full nights, days to 4,000.
6 nights at 300 is 1,800.
You want days too?
2,000.
3,000.
Done.
Holy!
Further cleaning up of Roberts occurs at a Beverly Hills clothing shop where Gere cuts through their phoniness with good humor typical of the film.
We're going to need a few more people helping us out. I'll tell you why. We're going to be spending an obscene amount of money in here. So we're going to need a lot more help sucking up to us because that's what we really like.
Oh, sir, if I may say so, you're in the right store and the right city, for that matter. There is some old-fashioned romantic movie fantasy in this story, as when Roberts gets dressed for an evening out with Gere.
If I forget to tell you later, I had a really good time tonight.
The story winds down to what's going to happen when Gere is ready to leave town. Roberts can see that sad ending coming as she confesses to her hooker roommate.
You like him? Yeah. You definitely like him. Well, he's not a bum. He's a rich, classy guy. Who's going to break my heart, right?
That's Laura San Giacomo as the friend in her first film since Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Gary Marshall should get a lot of credit for this picture. He directs this movie with the same mixture of good humor and emotional backbone as his Cabana Boy comedy, The Flamingo Kid with Matt Dillon. And Richard Gere deserves the Comeback of the Year award for making this film and the thriller Internal Affairs back-to-back, two good roles. Julia Roberts, I think, is better than in her Oscar-nominated role in Steel Magnolias. Pretty Women, with all these talents, is just a solid piece of commercial American filmmaking.
You mentioned Pygmalion. You could also mention Cinderella. This is kind of a realistic fairy tale in which the ending turns out the way we want it to. The romance is consummated. The people find they can respect each other as human beings. And for all that that's cornball and predictable, it's also very effective because these two actors are so appealing. You're right about Gere. He has been very good this year. All those Richard Gere jokes are not funny anymore because he's back on top again. And Julia Roberts is so effective. This is a new star, Julia Roberts.
Well, potentially, I could have handled a more downbeat ending. I was sort of rooting for that, but I like the Life Goes On endings, like Fabulous Baker Boys. I think it distinguishes a film. But it is really craftsman-like work here. In the writing, it is better written than you would expect here. There are moments. It's not realistic in the sense of the streetwalking character. It's realistic in each way these emotions are played out. This could be a couple dating of different cultures, and it would still work.
You know, one of the things I like is all of the detail involving that area around the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Los Angeles.
Oh,
Rodeo Drive shots that she goes into, and the sales girls are so hoity-toity and so forth, and a very nice cameo performance by Hector Elizondo as the manager of the hotel. This guy who's, you know, your niece is upstairs, and Gere says, we both know that I don't have a niece, and the way I know that is that I'm an only child. That was a good line.
Right.
And Elizondo winds up teaching her what fork to use at the business dinner. It's almost like he adopts her. This whole subtext about how the straight world is allowing this hooker entree and kind of giving her the key to respectability is a real nice part of the movie.
And we're in the first third of the year still.
1 minute. Be right back.
Elizondo will probably be forgotten, I know, when they mark their Oscar ballots at the end of the year. It is that caliber of performance. He's good.
You're right. Okay, next movie. Our next movie is named Blind Fury, and it stars Rutger Hauer in the story of a Vietnam veteran who is blinded in combat and then taught to super develop his other senses until he is a deadly martial arts warrior. As the movie opens, the blind hero is traveling through America, kind of a Johnny Appleseed of the blind, when he's suddenly called upon to reveal his extraordinary powers.
Give us a bird, Gringo.
What's going on here? Sorry.
He has an old army buddy who is a brilliant chemist, and the friend's son is kidnapped by bad guys who want the chemist to make illegal drugs for them. A crooked casino owner is behind the drug scheme, and he imports an assassin to deal with the nuisance of this blind hero.